Looking at the base case alone, $1 billion in 2030 without factoring in the hospital penetration or the nanonozzle or Lineagen's taxes, which is very, very subtle because Ragnoros has done a great job on calculating everything possible, and he purposely he did not include nanonozzle. I want to go over his projections, why they are so damn accurate and so impressive. Also, some other reasons that may make this base case more like the bear case. And I also want to go over how much the price would actually go and triple and how many triples and quadruples we would get if we were to actually hit the bull case $2 billion in net income in 2030 alone. I mean, look at that beauty right there. That's exactly what you want to see. And if we were to see that, how much are we going to go up? Well, we're going to go over all of this and more. But before we do that, I want to say thank you to Ragnoros, the legendary man himself. Ragnar Lothbrok is what I think of always when I see him. He's done a great job on this, and I want everybody to go upvote this post, or not upvote, okay? Give your opinion on it. I'm going to link in the pinned comment. We want to get the exposure out, and we want everybody to know why Bionano is worth a look. And this is, I mean, even the financial guys, right? The everything money guys they're losing so much money, operating expenses, we're going to die, our shares outstanding are high, right? Okay, all that crap, all right, that bullshit. They would look at this and they would have a seizure because they're like, too many numbers. Okay, this is the reason why if you're a financial guru or if you're an old-style, traditional-style investor, Bionano is still absolutely auspicious as hell. And without anything else, I want to go over the bull, bear, and base case and some reasons as to some things that he may have missed and some things that I like and some things that are really good. So here we go. Look at the base case scenario here. A couple things that I want to point out before we go and actually see and kind of understand how he's calculating this stuff. A couple things, right? The first most important thing is probably non-invasive prenatal screening, NIPT, and the hospital penetration, right? Now, Bionano themselves, they don't really talk about the hospital penetration, but NIPT is inherently hospital penetration, right? And if we look at his projection here, this is kind of what a lot of the projections actually come down to. This right here, right? The market opportunity, which is a whole other thing that we can get into, right? A lot of people, including myself, used to think that this was the total addressable market, the TAM. What this actually means is this is the amount of money that they will be making. 10,000 Sapphire systems sold. If 10,000 were sold, we would be getting this much from this and this much from the discovery research and to complement the sequencers. Fact of the matter is, I would say, I mean, I think it's objectively true that the hospital market and non-invasive prenatal screening, that is not cytogenetics. Cytogenetics are the study of chromosomes, right? The labs that analyze genomes. Non-invasive prenatal screening, I don't think that would be considered in cytogenetics. It performs as a cytogenetic function, but I don't think hospitals are considered in the realm of cytogenetics, right? And we're talking about, I mean, the company itself has said, analyze the genome, prenatal screening of every single unborn baby, and save lives, increase the life quality, life expectancy. That's what we're going to do, and that's what the company has said. And discovery research, complement sequencing, I don't know if they're including the hospitals in this thing. And even if they are, let's be honest here, okay? If we're going to have a Sapphire in every single hospital, there is much more than a 2.6 to 3.8 billion, as far as yearly serviceable obtainable market. I've said before, this is like the TAM. This is actually the SAM, the serviceable or SOM, serviceable obtainable market, right? The realistic portion, the portion of whatever market or niche that you're in that you're actually going to be getting on a yearly basis. And that's what this is. That's just how much we're going to get if we were to sell this many. And the fact of the matter is, the hospitals, if we were in the hospital market, it would be way more than a $2.6 to $3.8 billion serviceable obtainable market. So that's probably number one. Now this isn't really, Ragnoros did a great job here. Really, seriously, this is I would, okay, if I could do this as well as he did, I would, right? This is absolutely great freaking work. But I would say, I do think that the non-invasive prenatal screening, I don't really think that is included in here. And I also don't think it's included in here, which is fine, right? Right now, we're not selling to hospitals, really, right? But I do think down the line with the prenatal study, large clinical study, over 1,000 patients coming out later this year, according to the company Quarter 1 2021 earnings report, it is likely that we're going to start penetrating that market, and that's going to increase the revenue, total revenue compound annual growth rate. Right here, he has it as a 66%. That's going to make this, and remember, we're on the base case. This is the base case right here. that's going to increase that a lot higher. And number two, that was the first reason, right? Number two reason is the nano nozzle, right? The nano nozzle, and of course, he said in the start here he doesn't want to name it because it's just too hard to estimate or whatever. He said nano nozzle revenue hasn't been projected in this case in this DCF, adding that would only affect the share price positively, right? And that's saying it mildly. Nano nozzle, if it is what we think it is, and if it's going to fill in the gaps, quote by the CEO or the company, fill in the gaps of what next generation sequencing is missing, SNV detection, very complicated technology. That is going, that's going to blow, that's going to make these revenues, these projections look like freaking child's play. This is nothing compared to what it could be with nano nozzle, right? Let's just say that comes out in 2025. Okay, bear case scenario comes out 2025, 2026, 2027 even. Okay, what is that going to do? That's going to blow everything out of the water. That's going to make it where you don't need a sequencer potentially. Okay, it is. We don't know exactly the specs or exactly the niches of it, but we do know that it's going to be some sort of sequencer, and do some sort of sequencing function. So it's going to take a huge portion of the market share of Illumina and PacBio and bring that to this in the total revenue column. So those are two things right off the bat. And the number three thing that I think is number three reason why I think these estimates are a little bit more extremely conservative overall, like the net income, especially the net income, the net profit. This right here, the net income here, this is probably a little undershooting it, I would say. Well, here's the thing. It's just there's a lot of contingencies, but also the lineage and taxes. This is subtle, right? But I want to be thorough, right? Lineage and revenue right here, and then you have the taxes, which is assuming 19% taxes. And I really like, and he does give a really good reason as to why the taxes are this. He says, although taxes are 23% in the state of California, not every company pays that amount, right? Okay, they pay about 16 to 19% taxes. He assumed 19% taxes in all scenarios. Another thing I want to point out is that if you read the analysis of these guys, they used a 16% tax rate. So that just shows you, maybe this is not, maybe 19% is a little bit conservative, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just something to know, like, hey, all of these scenarios are pretty damn conservative. That's what it is. That's as simple as it gets, okay? And also what I want to point out here, that in California, you're looking at 23%. Well, Lineagen is in Utah, Salt Lake City. And Utah doesn't have 19% taxes or whatever, or 23%, right? So I know it's subtle, right? Lineagen revenue is only, 72 million in 2030, which, right, that's a lot, but it's nothing compared to the total revenue, which is going to be almost 2.25 billion in 2030 alone. But it's something to know. Those are three reasons, and there probably will be more that other people point out, but those are three reasons why maybe the base case is more like the bear case. However, I really like that this is more conservative. It's better to undershoot it. It really is. Under promise and over deliver, man. That's what this is, and I love it. These are great projections, and let's go. I want to go actually over the bull and base case now. So the base, right? You're looking at $1 billion profit in 2030 alone net income. Now, what would this do for the stock price? I would say, now this is just literally, this is basically pulling it out of my arse, but based on my calculations in my head, basically, you're going to be looking at not a 156x, which would basically be what $1.8 billion in revenue would do. So based on that, if you basically have that, you're going to be looking at about a 70 to 100x from the current price. From now to 2030, that's what you should be doing if the base case scenario, according to Ragnoros' DCF 2.0, is going to actually happen, which is $1 billion in profit in 2030 alone. Also, another key thing to note here, which is very weird to be honest with you, and I don't really like this, but the 2025, that is when profitability is being projected on the base case scenario by Ragnoros. Now, let's say the nano nozzle were to release in 2023. Okay, what happens? Boom, profitable next freaking quarter. Okay, that's as simple as it gets. But a base case scenario, 2025, that's your profitability, which is, I'm thinking more 2023, 2024. And I do also like that he changed his operating expense compound annual growth rate from it was like something crazy 65% to 30%. But at the end of the day, all of this stuff matters. But at the end of the day, let's be honest, okay? The Sapphires, the units installed compound annual growth rate there, that is what it's going to be. And he took that way down, and that's essentially why. And that's why basically, although he took the operating expense compound annual growth rate way down, that you would think, oh wow, revenue is going to freaking skyrocket now. Well, he kind of balances it with the Sapphire compound annual growth rate going way down, and he talks about that as well in the bottom here. Let's go look at that. A lot of people, I guess, were saying that 65-75% compound annual growth rate on Sapphires installed is unachievable, and I don't think that's right fundamentally, because let's be honest here. 2,500 labs worldwide, cytogenetics, and the hospital market, and the discovery and research market, right? According to the freaking company itself. I mean, dude, you're talking about thousands, maybe tens of thousands of institutions and places that are using CMA fission karyotyping for greater than 500 base pair large SV detection, and they're not using a Sapphire yet. And the fact of the matter is, the Sapphire is better than all of them. And it's my belief, unless something crazy happens, if everything goes if everything goes like reasonably, if there's not something crazy that happens, right? NABC's freaking pulls the freaking Sapphire out of their arse, and I don't know. Okay, something insane. Unless something insane happens, the Sapphire will be taken over in thousands of places. So. And also, right, and also the 80% company growth rate is what this analyst in the Seek and Alpha article, that was actually a really damn good read, he's projecting 80% CAGR. So, so it's absolutely not crazy to assume that the compound annual growth rate of 63% for the Sapphires installed is actually going to be way more like 70, 80, maybe even higher for the next few years. And of course, that's going to fluctuate every year, right? It's really hard to make it's a lot easier to make projections with the compound annual growth rate, because then it's not, it's harder if you're going to make this change each year. And maybe some business stagnation will come into effect later, but right now 63% for this year, next year, next few years till 2025, maybe it is a little bit higher than that, and maybe even it will continue to be the actual annual CAGR is going to be way higher than that. Maybe I think it probably will be, if I'm being honest with you, okay. But I don't want to be too bullish, okay. If we look at the bull case here, right, you're looking at $2 billion in profit in 2030 alone. That's obviously, I mean, you know where we're going if that happens, okay. It's absolutely over. Everything money, I mean, they're going to be jumping off a bridge, right, similar to Robbie Smith, okay, just gone, if anyone gets that. Robbie Smith was a bear a long time ago, shorted and bought puts on May 13th, otherwise known as the day that we hit $4.30, the low for Bionano, since for a long time, and they're gone now. Let's just say that. They have not shown their face on the channel or commented anything in a while. Anyways, $2 billion in profit, that's what we're going to be getting, right? And for all the financial people and gurus, traditional investors out there that think they know better than everyone else, right? Oh, Kathy Wood, innovation, technology is done, man. They've been saying, how long they've been saying technology is done? Okay, forever, pretty much. Okay, but this is, I mean, you can't dispute this. If the Sapphire is going to grow and get installed as we think it is, because it's just better than anything else in the world at what it does, and it's going to get better, right? It's going to literally, its cost per genome is going to go way down, its throughput is going to go way up, 14x, and the nanonozzle, and SNV detection, and LOH detection. I mean, it's all coming, man. It's all coming. If it does what we think it's going to do, which is get sold and be bought by everywhere, essentially, that is doing what the Sapphire does, that wants stuff that wants greater than 500 BP detection, it's going to be, I mean, there's no disputing this. And that's the only contingency, is if some other freaking technology gets made. And I mean, there's nothing else you can say. So this is pretty much irrefutable at this point. I mean, you've got conservative taxes, you've got a conservative CAGR even on the bull case here. Really, I mean, essentially. So there you go. I mean, that's what it is. $2 billion in profit in 2030 alone. Right now, we're losing $36 million a year. Right. 2023 is the profitability bull case. Bull case, you're making $2 million in net income profit in 2023 alone, man. And that's, dude, if this happens, dude, I mean, we're going to $50, we're going to $100, we're going to pass $200, okay? I don't know what I mean, 150, this would be, I mean, if the bull case is going to happen to this, based on the other projection, that my math is bad, remember my math is bad, but 156x if we were 1.8 billion, if we got basically 2 billion in revenue, you're looking at close to, you're looking at 160, 170, 180x from the current price. I mean, let's just do that number real quick. So what are we, like 760 times, let's just do 150, see what that is. Okay, look at that. All right, you're looking at $1,000 a share if we were to I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if we were to get $2 billion in revenue, this is maybe what you'd be looking at. I mean, that's 10 years down the line, but don't tell me that doesn't get you excited, right? Let's just say we were to 50x, right? What would the stop price be if we were to 50x? $350, right? I mean, dude, the revenue is going to do way more than 50x, right? The revenue is going to do way more. I mean, we're negative right now. Think about that. We're negative right now. I mean, dude, the revenue increases. I mean, this is what a company is. The revenue is what a company is at the most fundamental level, essentially, right? The product and the revenue. The revenue is the product is the revenue. And once that starts going up, you know what the stock price is going to do. It has to go up. Once those earnings reports come out, there's nothing you can do, right? That's just factual. The bears can't deny it and make shit up anymore. So that's the bull case scenario right there. And notice his compound annual growth rate is 72% for the Sapphires installed there. And he lowered. It looks like he lowered the OPEX CAGR from 30% to 25%. Also, the recurring revenue per Sapphire, which is actually really interesting. I didn't know this. This is the great fact right here, right? Or I guess it is. Okay, he's got his proof right here. The CEO says it's going to be, what, 60 to 150K per year for every Sapphire that it is, right? And that's not including the sales. And that's all that's not included. That's for the current Sapphire that does 96 per week or 5,000 a year maximum to my knowledge. For now, I am gonna leave you with that, but I will say that this video was basically to give you my reasoning as to why the bear case, why these cases, right, the base case and the bull case, those are more like bear cases, and we are gonna go over the bear case of Ragnoros. In my opinion, right there, you know, it's just there's a couple factors that I think make those scenarios in all realistic. You know, if you actually were to include the nano nozzle and the NIPT and the taxes for lineage, which is not going to be huge, but it's going to be probably a few tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions more dollars in the net income, maybe at least tens of millions. And then there's probably some other things that I'm missing, right? I've read this whole thing and I read it and I started shooting. Okay, so I'm sure I definitely could be missing something, but right now, this is the bull and base case kind of overview and look through and what I think, how realistic they are. That's what we just did. We're going to do a bear case one pretty soon. And also there's a ton of dilution stuff in here. So there's a ton of other stuff that we can go over in here. So thank you to Ragnoros. It's going to be linked in the description, or not the description, the pinned comment. I say it every time. That's where it's going to be. Go and freaking give your opinion on it, right? Give your opinion on it. Send the link to your friends, to any of your BNGO people that you know, Wall Street Bets. That would be cool. Twitter, social media, anything and everything is cool. So with that being said, we're going to be doing another video, but I don't want this one to be 1,000 minutes long. With that being said, thank y'all so much. This is not financial advice. I'll see y'all in the next one.